If what you're doing isn't working, don't you agree it may be time to start doing what is working and working like crazy? Hello, I'm Tyler Erickson, the creator of NetSpaceProfits, and I'm excited to introduce to you my newly released version. If you're like me, the first thing you're wondering is, do I even need to watch this video? What is NetSpaceProfits and what's in it for me? Well, watch this and you'll see. In a nutshell, NetSpaceProfits is a very efficient process of cranking out a portfolio of highly effective, highly targeted, and precisely positioned one-page websites for 43 specific business categories, quickly leasing those spaces to local businesses in your market. Watch how this works. I'm on Google and I'm going to search for the phrase florists in Mesa. Simply because if you were looking for a florist in Mesa, this would be the most logical term most people would search. In fact, while we're on this, if you live in Mesa, Arizona, email me and you can have this site. My email address is tyler.erickson, E-R-I-C-S-S-O-N, @gmail.com. Email me and you can have this site right here. You can see it, #1 in Google, Florist in Mesa. That's mine. I set this one up quickly just for this demo. With the NetSpaceProfits system, you'll get these sites set up and then use my 3-step technique to get them well positioned in local search, just like this example, and you'll lease that space to a local florist for them to put their telephone number on. I would charge $300 a month for this space right here, #1 in Google. And as you can imagine, every florist in Mesa wants to be #1 in this space. But Mesa's not my market. In fact, I've never been there. I just made this site to give you a quick snapshot of how powerful and quick the NetSpaceProfits system is. So like I said, if you live in Mesa, Arizona, email me and you can have this one. I want you to put it to good use and make some quick money. It's ready to go. And that's how the NetSpaceProfits system works. It's powerful and effective. You own the site. You control the site. You collect the rent. You handpick your select group of clients. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to detail for you everything about NetSpaceProfits. You can also watch over my shoulder as I walk through real life and actual case studies so that you can witness with your own eyes exactly what NetSpaceProfits is. So now that you get the big picture, I'm not going to ask you to sit here for an hour and listen to me ramble on about how great I am or whatever, when I know your #1 question at this point is simply, how much does this system cost? Well, I'm about to tell you the greatest news you've heard in a long time. The total cost is just $34. That's it. Not monthly, not annually, no bogus trial offers, just $34 flat. And that includes my 60-day, no questions asked, one-click refund policy. $34 is actually a very small fraction of what NetSpaceProfits version 1 and 2 sold for, and version 3.0 is more powerful, robust, and jam-packed with new features. I'm opening up version 2 for $34 on a very limited basis because if you're like me, we've learned that truly great and rewarding businesses are built on long-term, profitable relationships and not the quick buck, flash-in-the-pan stuff so many people are trying to pass off on us. So right now is your opportunity to join a close group of people just like you and me who share the same goals as us, whose #1 goal is to work together, share innovation, techniques, and tools to create solid businesses, relationships, and long-term growth. You'll agree $34 is an insignificant amount. Heck, these days it's not much more than a few gallons of gas. Isn't that crazy? And for the longest time, I've always worried about my future and stuff until I created NetSpaceProfits. And that's when everything changed. You see, NetSpaceProfits is a training center, software, and a unique suite of tools where I teach you exactly how to do this and how to become really, really good at it. All for $34. Let me tell you, it took 10 months, 2 programmers, 3 graphic designers, 2 server experts, 3 video makers, 2 writers, just to build the NetSpaceProfits Training Center. Not an easy task and quite an expensive undertaking, but it's all done and it's ready for you right now. Let's get into the finer details. I'm going to show you some real-life examples of the NetSpaceProfits system at work. But I want to first start by asking you, if I gave you something right now, today, that automatically paid you $300 per month, every month, how many of them would you want? And if you're willing to focus like a laser beam on what I'm about to disclose for you in the next 17 minutes, you are exactly where you need to be to take a shortcut straight to the top of the elite circle of massive automatic income earners. even if you're $702,000 in debt and see no end in sight. I should know because that's exactly where I found myself a short while ago. You see, thinking I was a big shot a few years ago, I decided I was going to be a real estate tycoon. And where did that get me? Well, when the economy tanked and real estate became about as valuable as toxic waste practically overnight, I was dead broken, $702,000 in massive debt. Now, NetSpace Profits is not about real estate at all. But going broke because of it was the best thing that ever happened to me and the exact reason you can capitalize on my misfortunes right now. Here's why. Scrambling to dump my real estate empire fast and after firing 3 different realtors who couldn't produce so much as a single prospect, I was desperate, sinking fast, and willing to try anything to get myself out of that awful situation. The bank was tightening the noose it had around my neck and it had no intention of backing off. It's when I got this friendly letter from the bank that I thought for sure my future looked very bleak. $702,000 due in full. Yeah, okay, well, let me grab my wallet or something like that. Or better yet, how about if I give you a check and you hold it for a while, maybe like 100 years? I couldn't even afford to put a for sale ad in the newspaper. And out of sheer desperation, that's when I decided I had no choice but to try to sell my property on my own, and I would try to sell it on the internet. Problem was, I am definitely no techno geek, and my knowledge and experience with the internet would fit on the head of a pin. So as you can imagine, I was convinced this would be a total waste of time. But I had no other ideas, and it seemed like everything was closing in on me fast. You know the feeling, overwhelmed and a little defeated, I guess you could say. Before I go on, I want to remind you again, NetSpace Profits has nothing to do with real estate, nothing at all. Oh, and it's not about making $537,000 in a month or something crazy like that. We've all seen those slick videos of some fast-talking car salesman telling us how for $40 or so we can all make a gazillion dollars online in the next 24 hours or something like that. Those guys don't give us much credit, do they? I don't know about you, but I kind of find it insulting when those gurus start telling me how lucky I am that I've stumbled onto their site and how I can get this secret code that was supposedly hacked from the top marketer in the world, etc., etc., etc. Or better yet, how about the story of some mysterious programmer, codenamed Mr. X or whatever, who appeared out of the darkness of the night to hand deliver some disk with a magical software on it or something like that. Seriously now, what kind of fools do they think we are? Now, if you're smarter than all of that nonsense and you're the kind of person who understands the big picture and you're ready to grab a credible long-term business that can create a residual monthly income at virtually any level you choose, then stick around because I am going to detail for you a very specific and simple process anyone can duplicate over and over again until you reach your target income goal. Now, getting back to my story, I did not know anything about making websites or online advertising or anything like that. And my marketing budget was very simple, $0. So this is what I did. I simply did a little research. I mean, you know, online you can pretty much find out information about anything. I had to learn how to get some basic local exposure on the internet without spending any money, and I had to do it fast. And once I got the basic idea of what I needed, I registered a local domain for about $10. Then I got some pictures of my property, and I got a free web design off the internet. Very basic, and I made a simple one-page site. This is it right here, and as you can see, it looked terrible. It looked very amateur. Very beginner stuff, but I did the best I could, and anyone can do this. It's only fair to note at this point that the first time I put this one-page site up, it took me at least 16 good hours or more. It was definitely trial and error, definitely a little frustrating. Today, using my simple system, that same process takes me about 15 minutes now. And that's because I have a method. I have a step-by-step, precise method. The same thing I'm going to show you how to do in just a moment. Anyway, after my one-page site was up, I followed some very basic steps that I had picked up online to try to get some local exposure for my page. I did things that didn't cost anything because I didn't have much money to spend on it. For the first 2 weeks after I got my site online, I got a few leads, but nothing great. It was looking pretty bleak. and I was starting to believe that the bank would win and I was sunk, so I might as well just give up. That one sentence in the letter from the bank just kept running through my mind over and over again. $702,000 due in full. But giving up is not my style. So I went back to the drawing board. I figured, hey, if I could get a few people to find this, then I can get more. I just need to figure out how. So I made some changes. I did 3 things different to my site, mostly about how I had it listed. I'm going to tell you those 3 things in just a moment, but I made those changes blindly, hoping something would happen, something would go my way. I don't know about you, but do you ever go through those times when you just need a victory? You need a win? Not a landslide, just something positive to go your way. Well, what happened next was nothing short of amazing. Not only was my site getting lots of exposure, my property was shown to more potential buyers over the next 30 days than it had been shown in the prior 2 years. Just from that one-page website, I had more potential buyers than my realtor had come up with ever. And he has his own very fancy website. Bottom line to all this, my property was sold in a very short period of time, and my $702,000 in debt was gone forever. And by the way, I'm going to tell you an interesting story about that banker jerk shortly. But for now, that's the short version of the story, and it doesn't really mean anything to you, and it's not really that interesting or important. But this is, listen up, because this is what can make you a ton of money. Look at this chart right here. This tells the story. This is the first secret you need to know. What this is, these are the online stats from my website. You can see on the left are the dates by week, and the right column is the number of visitors each week. Look at the first week in February. You see how the number skyrocketed from less than 100 to more than 500, literally overnight. You see, there's the key to everything, and you can make your spaces work exactly the same way. Here's how simple this is. If you take the internet as a whole, we all know that is a huge monster. But when you narrow your focus to a single local market by selecting a specific local domain, things begin to change. Next, by zeroing in on one specific business category in that one specific market, you can see how your NetSpace funnel site can quickly grab the corner of the market. Your space can quickly be well positioned in local search to complete your funnel. I'll show you how to apply this process to create your spaces and to capitalize on great positioning in any local search for any market you choose. It's no coincidence that Google, Yahoo, and Bing all now have special divisions for this one purpose and this one purpose only, and that's because this is what's working, and it's time for you to zero in on this and start capitalizing on what's working now. Immediately after my property was sold, I realized there was something significant that I had done with my site. Very significant, and here's how I knew. The realtor and this house flipper guy I know both called me that very same day and asked if I had any use for my website. They both wanted to take it off my hands, so to speak. All of a sudden I was popular, very popular. I just smiled. They probably thought it was because I paid off $702,000 in debt, but that wasn't it at all. You see, it was at that very moment that I realized the simple, little crappy website built by the worst website designer in the world, me, a total amateur, had value. And it had real value because it could funnel customers to any business I chose to funnel them to. And customers are worth money, big money. And both of these guys just validated that for me. Hey, I'm just like you. I like money and I like lots of it. And when I see a golden opportunity, I never pass it up. And here I had these two guys basically in a tug-of-war for my crappy little site. Well, it was then that I decided it wasn't for sale, but I would gladly rent it out to the highest bidder. Wouldn't you? And that was the day my life changed forever. That one victory I needed to happen. That was only the beginning, though, and most importantly, like I promised you, you can now see this is not about real estate at all. It's about money, tons of it, long-term income every month, like clockwork. And that's when NetSpaceProfits was born. I went to work immediately, duplicating what I had done for every kind of business I could think of. I saw dollar signs, big dollar signs, and I was moving fast to cash in. Plumbers, dentists, florists, caterers, nail salons, chiropractors, you name it. There's tons of cash to be made, and I was grabbing it. I knew if I could rent one site out for $300 a month, then I could rent out 100 or more, and 30 grand a month was not a bad goal, at least for starters anyway. Here's how simple the facts behind this business are. Have you ever seen a McDonald's restaurant on a deserted back street or dark alley that no one ever goes down? Of course not, but for any local business that does not have precisely positioned, high visibility and local internet and smartphone search, it's the exact same thing as being located on a deserted back street or dark alley that no one will ever go down. Remember, my realtor had his own website and in almost 2 years never produced a single hot prospect. That's because his website is on a deserted road with tumbleweeds blowing by just like almost every other local business out there. Sure, his site is fancy and it looks great, and I'm sure he spent a fortune on it, which really sucks for him because it doesn't bring him any customers. It's lost in internet outer space. My websites are on Main Street, USA, funneling tons of hot prospects and customers for my clients every day. I funnel the leads and prospects to my clients. They happily pay me handsomely every month and love every minute of it. Best of all, my advertising budget is still zero because I know the 3 things that make this business work like magic. And here's the one fact that's driving huge demand for my spaces on the internet. People don't use the yellow pages anymore. And with radio and television advertising quickly becoming a thing of the past, the internet and smartphones have taken over as the tools everyone uses. We all know that. And that's why local businesses are losing a fortune right now. It's a huge problem that opens up a golden window of opportunity for you if you can follow the simple and proven 3-step process I map out for you. So now you see what I mean. NetSpace Profits is not about making or selling websites for businesses. NetSpace Profits is a very efficient process for cranking out highly effective, highly targeted, and precisely positioned local websites, or spaces as I call them, that do one thing and one thing only: funnel tons of customers and prospects to your clients. You own the sites. You control the sites. You funnel customers to your select group of clients that you handpick and who pay you every month. Watch how simple this is. Watch over my shoulder as I do it live for you. This is an actual live recording I made while I went through the process of creating a local funnel site. You can see here I am going to the U.S. official time website, which is simply www.time.gov. I want you to see the time and date. Okay, as you can see, it's June 29, 2010. Now, I was going to use a more recent case study like one I did last week or something, but I decided this one is even better because what I want to show you is how quickly this was done last year, and I've not touched it since then. So I can show you now how it's doing better today. And you'll see for yourself, it only gets better over time, and it works on 100% total autopilot. Okay, so from here I go over to GoDaddy.com to check a local domain that I want to set up a local funnel for. As you can see, I'm entering and searching for chiropractorinmobile.com, which that alone tells you a lot about the simple process. Chiropractor being a specific business type, and Mobile, as in Mobile, Alabama, a very specific local market. And I'm going to show you 33 different ways to select the perfect local domain for any business category in any market. And that's important. Okay, so as you can see from this shot that on June 29th, that domain, chiropractorinmobile.com, was available and not taken. So I went ahead on that date and I registered that domain. Okay, now fast forward to July 14th, just 2 short weeks later. Once again, I'm going to show you here I'm on the U.S. official time, that's time.gov, to verify the date and time. And as you can see here, it is now July 14th at 9:28 a.m. Just 14 short days later after I registered that domain, chiropractorinmobile.com. Okay, from here I'm going to go to Google, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for the words chiropractor in Mobile. Again, for the simple reason that if I were living in Mobile, Alabama, and I were looking for a chiropractor online, or on my smartphone, this would be the most logical phrase that I would type in to search. Okay, so I'm searching here Google for chiropractor in Mobile, and you can see the first page results here. Scrolling down, you can see the site I put online is already near the top of Google, and that's just 14 days later. Very quickly. Very, very valuable positioning, and not by accident, but rather by simply knowing the 3 things anyone can do to duplicate this process. But that's not all. Follow along here as I go to yellowpages.com and search for the same phrase, chiropractor in Mobile, on Yellow Pages. You can see right here that my local funnel site is also #1 in yellowpages.com, and that's extremely important and valuable because in addition to normal search, many smartphones and local search portals and sites like that will get listings from yellowpages.com and other local type directories. As you know, every local chiropractor in town would kill to have this spot because you can just imagine how many new customers this can funnel into their business. In fact, here's one important secret I want you to know. Your best clients are right here. You can see these listings on top here and down the side. Okay, we all know these are sponsored listings. These businesses are paying to be in these spots. And as you also know, people these days are reluctant to click on ads. So my listing right here in #1, it's more valuable than all of those ad spots. So those businesses that are already advertising in the sponsored ad spots, that is who will lease your spaces. How simple is that? A captured market, eager and ready. If you want it, it's there for the taking. You see the proof right here. You saw what happened in just 14 days and how simple it was. And here's the best part of all. As you can recall, I set that particular funnel site up quite some time ago. And since then, I have not touched it. I've not done a thing. And I've never spent a penny on any kind of advertising or promotion whatsoever. Watch what happens when I go live to Google right now, today, and search that term again, chiropractor in Mobile. And there it is. You can see it, #1 in Google, and I've not done a single thing since the day it was set up. Okay, so now let's go back to Yellow Pages. Let's go to Yellow Pages live right now and search this same term again, chiropractor in Mobile. Okay, you can see right here, still #1. Still #1. And while we're on this, if you live in Mobile, Alabama, email me and you can have this site. It's #1 and it's ready to go right now. And this one I would lease for no less than $400 a month. My email address again is tyler.erickson, ERICSSON, @gmail.com. But only if you live in Mobile. If you live in Mobile, Alabama, email me and I will give you this space right here. I set this site up as a demo using my simple 3-step process anyone can copy and do the exact same way. The market is huge and demand is growing every day. The internet basically has come full circle. I don't know if you recall back when the internet first exploded onto the scene. When was that? Like 1999 or 2000, something like that. I mean, it was really booming. And at the time, the experts were proclaiming that all shopping malls would eventually be closed down because people would just buy everything online and that the future of retail is just doomed because no one would ever have to go to a store again. Well, we all know that just never happened and it never will. But what is happening right now is quite the opposite. People are using the internet to locate where they want to go shopping, to locate a good dentist, to find car insurance, to find a house online like they did mine. And of course, people are buying things online, but they don't buy everything in their life online. Right now, people use the internet, and more specifically the local internet, to locate the local businesses they want to do business with. And they're doing it more than ever. And with the soaring use of iPhones and smartphones, it's a growing thing, and local internet visibility is more important than ever to businesses right now. This is a very important point I want you to remember. Research has shown that when a person goes online to search out a local business, a local service or product locally in their market, they are looking for who they can purchase from. When a person gets to that point where they are searching online, they are in the buying mode. They are ready to buy. That's why it's extremely important that a business have local internet visibility, funneling those buyers to their doorstep. because businesses are no longer worried about losing sales to some online competitor on the other side of the world. It just never transformed that way. What local businesses are worried about is making sure that they have a good local online presence, because they know that customers now more than ever are searching locally, and that will continue to grow rapidly. And that's what NetSpace Profits is all about. When someone is looking for a plumber in your market, they find your local plumbing site, which funnels them right to your client. You can simply follow the exact, very specific process using the software I'm going to give you to create your funnel sites and repeat it over and over again until you reach your income goal. And here's another reason why your clients love leasing your local funnel sites for their businesses. It's instant results and it's risk-free for them. You see, most local businesses have tried to tap the local internet with no success. They simply do not have the know-how or the time. And what's great for you is that most businesses have spent a ton or have been burned by web designers who overcharged them a fortune and delivered little or nothing. And that's perfect for you because your local funnel sites give your clients exactly what they have been trying to do forever. And you're giving it to them on a silver platter. It's important to note something really special about this business, and that is the fact that you deal with a select group of clients that you handpick. So one of the major things about this business I want you to note right now is that when you are in the NetSpace business, you are not waking up every morning worrying about where you are going to get more customers to buy whatever, or where can I advertise, or am I going to make any sales today? The NetSpace Profits business is totally different. You set it up once and that's it. Since you are dealing with businesses that pay you every month, you have a very steady and reliable income without having to chase your tail every day. You see, the NetSpace Profit system is a training center for you, including software and a unique suite of tools which you can use to do this and become really, really good at it. That's why it's such a big success. It's not based on hype, theory, or magic software. It's based on real demand from a credible and stable client base, local businesses. And that's why NetSpace Profits can create an amazing long-term monthly residual income for you. Best of all, there's literally no limit to how high your monthly income can grow, even if you don't have a single marketable skill to your name. And the coolest thing about it is your income comes in automatically every month. Plus, the demand is growing by leaps and bounds every day. The economy doesn't matter. I started NetSpace Profits in the worst economy since the Great Depression. And the crazy thing is, it's much easier than any dead-end job I ever had. Plus, it can give me the income, free time, and security I've always wanted. Oh, and while I'm on the subject of a bad economy, let me share something with you about that banker who told me I might as well give up. I'll never be able to pay off the $702,000 loan. If you call this telephone number, you'll find out that this is not a working number. This is, in fact, or rather was, the telephone number of that lender that I owed $702,000 to. And I'll never forget the day that that fat cat banker looked down his nose at me and told me that I would never be able to pay those loans back and that I might as well just give up. And I almost believed him. Well, as the story goes, I did pay the loan back in full. And who failed? The lender. And the ironic thing is, I bet that fat cat banker whose lending company went belly up is probably sitting behind the desk at yet another bank, looking down his nose again at people like you and me, telling them that they aren't good enough to do business with him. And if he's a really well-paid banker, and I mean top of the scale for bankers, he might be making $100,000 a year. And from my perspective today, that's a very small number. So can the NetSpace Profits change your life? You decide. NetSpace Profits is about a step-by-step process designed to get you to your goals. So this right now is your starting point. Take a minute. Think about it. Imagine where you want to be 30 days from now, 3 months from now, or 6 months from now. Set your goals. 5 spaces, 10 spaces, 20 spaces, 43 spaces, 200. Step back and ask yourself, what will make you a lot more comfortable in your life right now? Is it an extra $300 to $600 a month? Is it an extra $1,000 a month? Or maybe your goal is $8,000 to $12,000 a month or more. You can kind of gauge what it is that you want to make every month and then you can set up how many sites you need based on what your goals are from there. The bottom line is the more local funnel sites you lease out, the more money you can make. It's a linear graph and it's pretty simple that way. NetSpace Profits is about creating a portfolio of one-page local websites targeted for a specific business type in a specific city. Your spaces will range from dog groomers to roofers and everything in between, and will funnel customers to your select client base. You own the spaces, you control the spaces, you collect the rent. There's no limit to how much monthly income you can make. Best of all, your spaces become real assets, internet properties worth value. In fact, if you decide to cash out one day, and who could blame you, and sell your spaces, do not be surprised if you fetch a price in the high six figures. It can be that significant. The time to join is now. You saw what happened in just 14 days in the live demo I just showed you. Start now, and by this time next week, you can have your first spaces up and running. This is not a forever offer. When I decide I have enough new members, then I'm going to take it down and you will not be able to join after that, because I want to work hands-on only with a small group of fast movers, people who get the big picture, know a huge opportunity when they see it, and know how to take action. If you're the kind of person that has goals, and I mean really big goals, then I want to work with you. So don't procrastinate. Join now while the opportunity is still open. Ask yourself, where has procrastination ever got you? There's no reason to put this off. You've seen the proof, and you also now understand the market is huge, and it's there waiting for you, ready for the taking. And if you don't do it, someone else will. The NetSpace Profits system is a training center. It's software and a unique suite of tools where I teach you how to do this and how to become really good at it. And that's where I provide you all of my exclusive tools as well as those for automating the process. So the NetSpace Profits system includes step-by-step guides and video training, software, the best business categories to target. It's all given to you, ready to go so that you can start right away. So don't waste another minute. Join now. Your timing is perfect.